Alright, we're going to look at more Modern Horizons spoilers. I think this is the last day of new cards. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll see what we've got. It looks like, yeah, this is it. We're looking at 225 cards. Sorted by name. I don't want sorted by name. I think it's sorted by spoiled. Yeah, order spoiled. Okay, that's good. So yeah, spoilers are over. These are the last cards of the set. I've been pretty impressed with this whole thing. A lot of pretty powerful cards, a lot of new archetypes that could emerge, a lot of things that I never ever thought would come back being brought back in a major way. Let's see what these final ones are. Trumpeting Herd, 3/3 elephant creature token, then it rebounds. So that's kind of fun. You're getting 6 power distributed over 2 turns for 4 mana. That's not terrible. In limited, I think this is quite strong. Sure. Twin Silk Spider. There's Battlefield. You get 2 spiders. 2 spiders for the price of 1. Alright, sure. Sure. Good chump blocking type stuff against flyers. Winding Way. Choose creature or land, reveal the top 4 cards of your library, put all cards of the chosen type revealed this way into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. That's actually quite nice. Probably in any given situation you're going to want one of those 2 things in a deck, so that you can stabilize yourself both on board presence or mana. This digs quite deep. You're looking at 4 cards. You could potentially put 4 cards in your hand, which would be pretty crazy. Yeah, I think it's more just to kind of make your limited decks consistent rather than necessarily this being some big kind of huge payoff enabler. Treefolk Umbra. Alright, that's cool. So the Umbra cycle is coming back with the Totem Armor, which is kind of neat. It's a good way to stop yourself from getting 2v1 because basically it's going to take 2 cards of removal to get rid of it in the first place. You can be a lot more bold with your attacks and what have you. Whoops. And this being like on an enchantment, I think this is the first time that this line of text, which is normally a global effect, can be put on one specific card. So that's kind of cool too. I think there's quite a few really high toughness guys that you can plunk this down on, and then instead of just being a utility creature that can survive a lot, it turns into a huge threat. Neat, very neat. Chop Ambusher. Dash, do the fucking dash Speed Racer. That's lyrics from Speed Racer by Warhol SS. This is a mechanic from the Cons block. Yet another mechanic in this set. I think we're up to like 30. It's pretty insane. Like, both of these are just single card mechanics as far as I can tell. Alright, sure. The stats are pretty nice. This is quite nice. So the dash and the main are the exact same. So it's like you can either kind of play this almost as a combat trick that you dash it in that turn and then it does all of this at once, or you can play it and then next turn for free you can continually get the effect. So it's kind of neat. I think mostly dash costs were like cheaper than normal casting costs. But since this has a trigger on attack, yeah, that's pretty neat. Rhyme Tender. Ooh, okay, alright. If there is ever a snow deck, this could be part of a pretty major engine or combo. It's kind of doing an Arbor Elf impersonation, you know, untapping a forest, but untapping any snow permanent is probably a lot stronger than that. If you have something that does a lot of value on its tap ability. We can find that out quite easily. Snow. And tap. None of these are actually that crazy. You can like untap a big creature to get a pseudo vigilance. You can untap this angel and you can get 2 creatures back. I guess. You set yourself up for a big safe attack. Aside from that, though, nothing too crazy looking here. You can make your snow duels come into play untapped, kind of. Sort of, if that's worth running a creature for. Sure. I like these snow creatures that don't necessarily have any snow, like, specific synergy, and it's more just like a good creature that can be played in the snow deck. Yeah, okay. Murasa Behemoth. That doesn't look like Murasa's art. Ha ha ha. Gets +3/+3 as long as there is a land card in your graveyard. Alright. That's like not at all hard to meet as a condition, given the existence of fetch lands and all sorts of discard outlets that usually you're pitching unneeded lands and blah blah blah. The problem is after that it's still just an 8/8 trampler for 6, which shockingly I don't think is good enough anymore. It seems crazy to say that. An 8/8 trampler for 6 is just like, eh. You sacrifice land if you do draw a card. So there's a nice little synergy here. Another threshold thing. Sure, nice frog. Rolled long after he croaked. Haha. Ward Eye Witch, Goblin Shaman. Alright, that's nice. Gross. Conifer Worm. This is, I think, the first big worm we've seen of the set. And it's actually not that big. But this is kind of cool. If you're playing all snow lands, of course, this is like strictly a greater increase than it is per mana, if you know what I mean. Like, you're going to have at least 4 snow permanents. So yeah, the snow deck, it's really hard to kind of put it together in my head. The biggest drawback is your snow duels are pretty bad. So it's only your basics that are getting you snow advancement or whatever. So that's definitely a downside, especially since all the best Snoke stuff is a pretty spread out across colors. Bellowing Elk. Trampling Indestructible. Oh, so this is kind of like an elk mechanic, I guess. That when other creatures come along, it gets stuff. A whistle and a roar. Both mean get away. Cute. Silumgar Scavenger. Silumgar being one of the big dragon lords back in the Khans blocks. There's yet another mechanic. Alright, sure. This may be good in limited. Just flying body. It could become hasty. Ooh, that's interesting. All colorless non-land cards are all multicolored cards. So is this strong enough as tech against artifact heavy decks? Probably not. Is it strong tech against multicolor heavy decks? Also probably not. It's just generally better to have cheap targeted hand disruption rather than guess-based. Even if it can hit harder sometimes, it's more important to just take out the things that are immediate threats, especially if it's 1/3 the cost. But this is cool and exciting. I definitely like cards that are based around kind of reading what's in your opponent's hand and then being able to get value off of that. Yeah, the flavor text is interesting too. Sadistic Obsession. Okay. It's alright. Good kind of limited removal. Morbid. And another, this one at least just a keyword ability. Not something that has actual rules support, but neat. Sure. Vashino's Sand Sprinter, Trample, Haste. Turn into the owner's hand. Oh, okay. Alright. Without claws. In all creature types. Cool. Pretty expensive though. Oh, it's for all creatures. Yeah, I guess that's alright. It's a nice kind of combat thing. Turn from Instinction. Turn target creature card from your graveyard hand. 2 target creature cards that share a creature type from your graveyard hand. Alright, sure, sure. It's another reference to the first sliver. Pretty neat. Spinehorn Minotaur. You've drawn 2 more cards this turn. It's double strike. If you think twice, I'll cut twice. What a spooky looking guy. Sure, sure, sure. Quakefoot Cyclops. 2 target creatures can't block. Okay, so this sort of mechanic we've seen before, where the cycling gives like a more minor version of the effect of actually casting the card. It's pretty neat. Okay, we're getting this effect again, as long as there's at least 1 land card in your graveyard. It's pretty nice. Sometimes it seems like Wizards is trying to stray away from fetches. I think Maro has said in the past that he thinks fetches were too strong, they're a mistake. They slow the game down too much because you're constantly shuffling and searching. But then there's often stuff that's like very strong with fetches. This is of course good with the cycling lands as well. And they do have that universal fetch in this series, or in this set, so that's kind of neat. Alright, sure. Ransack the lab. I'm surprised that black gets to do this. This is entirely within blue's wheelhouse. Or failing that, green gets this sort of effect if they're digging for like a specific card type, like creatures or lands typically, or in the case of Ancient Stirrings, colorless cards, which is insane. Yeah, it's alright. I guess black gets tutoring, and this is sort of like a tutoring thing, but that's how it is. Fun flavor, too. Siblings robbing each other blind. Cleaving Sliver. That's pretty nice. It's a little expensive, though. I think you'd probably just want to run much more muscle slivers and sinew slivers and stuff. Playful Swipe at a tree trunk. Its new blade cut clean through. Sheesh. Rank Officer. Okay, sure. This is a nice little synergy between the effects. Recruits the fresh and tosses the rotten. Sacrificing another creature becomes a dragon with base power 4/4 flying and haste. Kind of neat. Neat flavor. Sure. Ooh, that's not bad. And it filters your mana too. You can see this being pretty decent and limited. That's just sort of like a mana sink later in the game. Fountain of Ichor. Fun, fun. Another animating artifact. Turns into a dinosaur. Neat. Wait, what is Ichor again? Or Ichor? I think it's Ichor. This is something that's shown up in lots of Hey, wait, so hold on. Is this canon? Is this canon that the glistening oil, aka Phyrexian oil or Ichor, which is of course the thing that infects planes and how Mirrodin got affected, is gone to Ixalan? Is this canon? That we're gonna get Phyrexian dinosaurs in the future? The next time we return to Ixalan, it's gonna be like vampires and pirates versus Phyrexian dinosaurs? What? This is crazy. Are they revealing like a fairly major plot point in just like a non-standard set like this? Okay, crazy. All right. I guess we'll just have to move on. All right, this is cool. Very flavorful and can actually be pretty strong, I think. This is like a way to really, really cheaply cast a killer creature, perhaps for 0. And in a deck where you're going wide, sometimes like a gigantic creature just like shuts you down and makes it really hard to race and starts picking away your guys. So this I could see maybe being decent. I don't know. Grave Shifter. Oh, it's like Gravedigger. That's exactly what Gravedigger looks like. Probably some of the other Changeling cards are similarly pointed in their references. Oh, perfectly good identity. And this is what Gravedigger does too, I'm pretty sure. Amorphous Axe. Alright, cool. Birthing Bows. Fun, cute. Gluttonous Slug. Oh, Evolve! We haven't seen Evolve in quite a while. Get another mechanic just tossed into the fray. I love it. No amount of salt will save you. Doesn't seem that good. You have to evolve it like many times before it actually becomes somewhat of a threat. Okay, that's kind of cool. It's a nice little freebie combat trick type thing. I keep calling things combat tricks, but they're not really tricks unless you're playing them during combat. Whereas something like this you have to play before you declare attackers in order to actually have your attacker fly. But it's still, you know, it's something that can influence combat in a way that makes it more favorable for you, even if you're not tricking them with it because you play it ahead of time. But, you know, whatever. Alright, cool. As long as you control another snow permanent, so on top of Winter's Rest. But, you know, that can just be your snow basic land or whatever. First Sphere Gargantua. So the spheres are spheres of Phyrexia. So now we're actually getting a card from true Phyrexia before Urza blew at the smithereens, before it took they took over Mirrodin or anything like that. Yeah, it seems fine. I like that the unearth cost is cheaper, but you still get the card and stuff. It's kind of neat. Smoke Shroud. +1/+1 is fighting, flying whenever it enters the battlefield in control. Oh, okay, alright, that's cool. That is really cool. That feels very ninja-y too. You know, you just like discard this card and then suddenly it's being drawn up by your ninja who's using it to fly through the air. Which will of course help your ninjas get in. So like even if you ninjutsu in a ninja, this thing comes in and attaches to it and you get the +1/+1 immediately, but you know, the flying is kind of irrelevant because the ninja, you know, has already been unblocked. Then for subsequent attacks. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Reign of Revelations, draw 3 cards and discard a card. I guess they've never done this before. It doesn't really seem that great. But sure. This is, first off, the art just looks like a contemporary person wearing some like tie-dye t-shirt, which is kind of interesting, outside of the fact that she's having some sort of vision or hallucination. And then the story has no real fantastical elements either. It's something that can really happen to us as well. It's nice. It's really nice. It's very poetic, just a small anecdote. And it really teaches you something, not just about the literal truth, but in lots of situations you can get already soaked. You can already take the worst the situation is going to give you. And if that's already happened, then why keep running? Why not just sort of lean into it and see what else this state can offer you? Maybe? I don't know. Please don't take this advice because of a magic card or because of my discussion of a magic card. But it's an interesting idea. Azra Smoke Shaper. Ninjutsu. Okay, alright, sure. Because it's putting up like a smoke screen around them. They can't be destroyed. Whoa, a Squid Illusion. One Nerophage. Whenever you draw a card, plus a +1/+1 counter on it. Ooh. Now that is quite interesting. This thing can get really big really fast. It's evasive. It's so weak when it comes down and for so much mana. But it's an exciting card. And the art is really cool too. It's just such a weird thing. And this flavor that it's Can you imagine just like wizard students spreading rumors about the weird octopus monster that appears in their dorm rooms and saps them of creative energy? Phantasmal form. Okay. Cool. Doesn't really have the other half of the illusion mechanic. Like the fact that the stats are strong is kind of illusion-y, but it doesn't have that disappears when targeted type thing going on. But that's fine. It's like a pure benefit. Yeah, cool. Iceberg Kencrix, another crab. And just like other crabs, it's all about the milling, right? Like that Hedron crab. I like that. I like that crabs kind of get that as a theme. So is snow mill a thing? Almost certainly not. I kite. Alright, sure. This is a similar mechanic that we've seen somewhere else. Cute little dragon. Each of its lyres is larger than its brain. Alright. Cunning evasion. Oh, okay. That's quite interesting. Begin with your escape and work backwards. This, I think, more than like actually getting yourself out of bad combat situations where you just probably wouldn't attack in the first place if there was such bad blocks. This allows more like repeated bouncing things to your hand and recasting them. So then you just have to make sure that your guys are getting blocked as well. So I don't know, like lure type effects. It's not really adding up in my head. The problem is that this can never be a surprise either. Like your opponent is just going to make wise decisions about blocking with this on the field because it's already on the field. It's not like you can flash it down or anything like that. I think it would be a lot more interesting if this had flash. Because then at least you get one turn of like blowout potential. Blizzard Strix, another kind of like baleful Strix. And then it gets to bounce something, sure. Or flicker, slow flicker something, not bounce. Trustworthy Scouts. Oh, okay, that's fun. If you lose me, I'll be right behind you. Stirring Address. Target creature you control gets +2/+2, or you can shout even louder for 6 mana. Alright. Soul Strike Technique. +1 has Vigilance. Okay. We have Manifest as well. Yet another mechanic. This one quite complex, but I guess because it's only on this one card, you're not going to run into too many situations where you're having tons and tons of morphs on the field. And I don't think there's any morphing creatures. This is the only way that you're going to have face-down creatures. But it could be anything. Exile a creature you don't control, exile a creature you control, then return it. Oh, okay. Alright, fun. You get to exile and bounce. And I mean, this sort of universal exile effect in white is pretty rare. And this isn't super expensive for it. Like, single target exile is actually pretty sweet. So, alright. Rocks Veteran, Battle Cry, yet another mechanic. Tap target creature an opponent controls. Sure. Reprobation. It becomes a coward. We saw something else that referenced cowards earlier. So not only is that mechanic back, or mechanic, it's getting more and more support. So right here, coward doesn't do anything. But then other things that say cowards can't block or cowards can't attack still works with this thing that turns into a coward. Sure. There's a time before all craven beasts cowered before Avacyn's divine might, symbolized by her collar, especially Avacyn's collar. do you remember that flavor text? It's like, a werewolf hates a collar, especially Avacyn's collar, the symbol of her church. It's like, wow. Really laying it on thick there. I feel like I probably could have understood that. Alright, sure. This is nice. It's kind of a little worse, I guess, than pacifism because... Oh, but it loses all abilities. Yeah, I think this is like probably stronger than pacifism in many ways. Recruit the worthy. Alright, sure. Buyback, you just get to keep recruiting the worthy as long as you have the mana. That's alright. Lancer Slivers. Ooh, that's cheap for something that useful. There's like a double strike sliver, but of course it's very expensive. Knight of Old Benelia. Oh, it has suspend because he's such an old fogey. He's like coming back from the past. I like it. I like it. It's kind of exciting to suspend this guy and see what kind of impact he'll make 5 turns from now. Exciting, but probably not that good. Regular Cohort. It's another changeling. And he comes with a friend. Sure. First Slivers Chosen. Ah, has Exalted. Oh, how nice. But I feel like that's not what you want to do with Slivers. Given that each individual Slivers you have probably contribute way more than 1 point of damage if they swing themselves. But I guess it's kind of a way to like hold back while still putting forth 1 strong attack per turn. Something like that. Sure. Face of Divinity. Okay, so this is kind of like Daybreak Cornet, but of course, instead of being restricted only to enchanted creatures, like enchanted creature, you enchant anything with this, and it's just stronger if it's already an enchanted creature. It's kind of neat. The art is really cool. Shelter. Sure, that's like a very simple card. Oh, that's because it's an old card. Of course. Ball of Blossoms. Ooh, I'm surprised this card isn't modern. I'm surprised. This card has been around quite a lot. I think it's actually pretty solid. It buys you a lot of time in the early game, in like limited formats. I'm saying here, it draws you a card. In Defender Tribal, I think this is a solid play. But that even with Arcades Sabbath, I don't think that will be a thing. Unfortunately, Arcades the Strategist. Alpine Guide, Trill Mountain, Current Battlefield Tap, Shuffle Your Library. Ooh, interesting. So you lose access to the mountain that you had tutored out before. That's kind of neat. Sure. Moonblade Shinobi. Neat. That's very anime. Ninja of the New Moon. It's just the big ninja guy. Sure. Throat Seeker. Unblocked attacking ninjas you control have lifelink. Neat, neat. Kind of shoring up this ninja tribal. Teaching all his ninja comrades to suck blood, I guess is the flavor here? Turning them all into vampires? I don't know about that. Ooh, Phantom Ninja can't be blocked. Straight up. So this is your ninja that enables all the other ninjas in Limited. Of course, we've seen unblockable creatures for cheaper, but the creature type here is quite nice. If you're trying to do this ninja tribal thing. And yeah, it really turns on a lot of the synergies in Limited. Pathalize, I say. Tornado. Alright. Alright, here's another question I have about these ninjas. Are they in Kamigawa? I don't think so. I think they might be in the long hinted at new Japanese world. That would be more about like kind of pop culture Japan instead of actual Japan spiritual tradition. That's maybe something I'm thinking could happen. Like this doesn't look like Kamigawa to me. I don't know. It just, yeah. Alright, sure, this is something green gets to do, but it doesn't get to do it too often. But it's really nice to have in certain formats. Here, maybe not so much. I can't really think of too many big flying threats, but Rot Widow Pack. You get more and more spiders. How delightful. For each one you see 10 CU. How creepy. That's so creepy. Whoa, look at this art. Talk about creepy. Each creature is exiled from the battlefield. Ooh. That's cool. Triggering on exile. Exile another target creature you control, then return that card to its battlefield under its owner's control. Cool. So it enables your flicker strats with like Astral Drift and all of that. Or other cards that synergize with Astral Drift. It of course doesn't trigger Astral Drift itself, but if you know what I'm saying. And then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger as it does so. And then of course you're running a whole bunch of other exile effects. Maybe you're just running Sid McKinnon Tribal, because all of his art is so cool. Look at that. The way it has the sun, and then it's like cloak is the night. Oh, oh man, that's so neat. And it's like, really, this gigantic thing is a 1/1, but I think this depicts it after it's exiled quite a few things, herding its souls around. So yeah, Exile Tribal. You play this, you play a bunch of Journey to Nowheres and Path to Exiles and all sorts of weird flicker effects and Settle the Wreckages and yeah, maybe? And this is your big beatdown in the end? Maybe, maybe. Oh, this is a classic card. Like the biggest kicker cost in the world, I think. And you can just hit somebody for 10. You can just dome them right to the face for 10 damage. And it can't be prevented. Nicely done, Urza. And Everdream we saw before. So, now we have seen the whole set. How exciting. We'll talk about it more in the future. It's like a noise coming from my sink, which is disturbing. So I'm going to go address that. Hopefully soon I'll have my video where I look at my predictions for War of the Spark and see how those lined up. And then at another point we'll do a similar video with my predictions for Modern Horizons. I feel like there's going to be another Modern Horizons set, given that this one is MH1. So that's very exciting too. I think these could easily be my most anticipated products of the year if they keep coming out with this strength, with this level of depth and power and all of that good stuff. Okay, that's all for now. Bye-bye.